In this video, I'm going to be sharing 3 major homeschool myths. But if you're new to this channel, my name is Heather and I'm a homeschooling mom of 3. And on this channel specifically, I do homeschooling and motherhood topics just like this, day in the life videos and product reviews and things that we use inside of our homeschool. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. But today I want to walk through 3 of the major homeschool myths that I hear all the time. As a homeschool mom, several years now, these were things that I actually thought of before I started homeschooling too. And so I just want to debunk these myths. I want to expose them. So we're going to walk through this today. So let me know in the comment section below, what homeschool myths do you hear all the time? I would love to know that in the comment section. But let's go ahead and get started on this broadcast. The 3 major homeschool myths. All right, let's get into this. Myth number 1, homeschool kids are unsocialized and weird. Oh my goodness. Have you heard this before, that homeschool kids are unsocialized and weird? I thought this too before I started homeschooling my kids. I was uneducated and uninformed about the homeschooling community in general. And so my go-to was what I've only seen. I was raised in public school. My husband was raised in public school. And so for us, we really only knew, public school or private school experiences. And really our main objective was, we actually thought this was true, that homeschool kids are unsocialized. And because we were not exposed to homeschool kids, we actually thought homeschool kids were kind of weird. So let me know in the comments below if you're like me and you thought that. But here's the thing. I'm going to expose this myth because homeschool kids are not unsocialized. We're social beings and we thrive being around a lot of people, or thrive to be around people. But it doesn't necessarily need to be a large group of children. Children don't necessarily have to be only with children in order to thrive in a social situation. So homeschool kids are exposed to so many aspects of life. They are talking to people in the grocery store. They're involved in community events and activities. They're around kids their age and kids of all ages. So the homeschool community is actually a wide range of exposure of people to your kids. Now, homeschool kids being weird, I think this is kind of a small-minded view. I think because someone is different, it doesn't make them weird. I think that we sometimes like to look at other people and think, well, because they're doing this differently than I've ever done this, then that's just not cool. That's just weird. But really, I found homeschool kids to be some of the most fascinating children I've been around. They're able to hold conversation with adults. They're able to go through activities in more problem solving and be able to handle situations better because they're exposed to so many things. So that is number 1. Myth number 2, people who homeschool their kids are ultra conservative, ultra religious, and want to shield their kids from the world. Oh man, tell me in the comments, have you heard this before? That you kind of had this view that people, they're like the Duggars. I mean, not calling them out, but the Duggars are ultra conservative and ultra religious, and they did want to shield their children from the world. Now, that's not how I interpret homeschooling. There are thousands of homeschooling families out there who are not conservative. There are thousands of homeschooling families out there who are unreligious, meaning they are secular homeschoolers and they thrive in that environment. And there are a lot of homeschoolers who actually bring their kids out of schools to expose them to the world, meaning that they want to give them positive opportunities to be inside of their community and really work through those things. So I think that this is a huge myth. There are many different reasons that people homeschool. Not all of them have to do with religion or their values. A lot of it can do with communities and of people who are travelers, and it works best for them to be able to travel and bring their kids with them. I know single moms who homeschool, and for them, it's a way for them to spend more time with their kids because they work different schedules. Or like our family, we're an entrepreneurial family. And so we value freedom in our lifestyle. And so homeschooling fits into that well. Now, am I ultra conservative or ultra religious? No. But do we have a spiritual aspect to our homeschool? Yes, because that's who we are as individuals. So that is homeschool myth number 2. And homeschool myth number 3, homeschooling is expensive and hard. This one was one that I really had to get past when we first started homeschooling. I thought that in order to do homeschool right, that you had to have all the things. Oh, let me know if you can relate to that. In order to do homeschool right, you had to have the big box curriculum and spend thousands of dollars to equip an entire room to make school at home. And this is such a myth. You can start homeschooling your kid today for less than $20. And here's what all you need: a library card, some pencils, some art supplies, and some notebooks, some plain paper. You can literally get started homeschooling with those things. Now, here's the other thing you do need. You need a plan. So, is it expensive? No. But do you need to have some type of plan for how you're going to homeschool? Yes. And so, when people think that homeschool is hard, it's because they're going into it not understanding the process. So, what I like to tell new homeschool moms is that homeschool curriculum is a guide, it is not a mandatory manual. Now, there are some states who do require you to be able to have record keeping of the homeschooling that you're doing, but there are so many caveats to that that you're able to actually express yourself in your homeschool in your own way. So just ask your local authorities what the requirements are when you're getting started in homeschool, and then I would just tailor your homeschool around that. But if you have freedom in your state to homeschool how you want, just know that take a deep breath, give yourself some grace, and remember why you stepped into this. Remember why you wanted to homeschool and the power that you have to be able to influence your children in that way. So is homeschool expensive? It can be if you make it expensive. And is homeschool hard? Well, it can be if you make it hard. But I've found that the more we strip back in our homeschool, the less that we do and the easier we are on our schedules and on our things that we're requiring. We have found so much joy in homeschool. So those are the three major myths of homeschool. I would love to hear from you and know if those are myths that you have experienced also. I'm really practicing something new here, more of a teaching style. This is what I do in my career. And so I thought it'd be fun to bring it over here onto this channel as well. So if you enjoyed that little bit of slides, let me know in the comments, because I just want to be here as a friend. You know, I really think that in the homeschool community, the online homeschool community, it has been amazing to be able to connect with so many of you here online on YouTube and over on Instagram. And I just love getting to hear your feedback on the videos that I'm creating and the information I'm putting out for you. So I'd love your feedback on that. So those are my three myths for homeschooling. And question of the day, let me get over here to question of the day. Question of the day: what other homeschool myths are you curious about? Do you currently believe some things about homeschool and you want me to debunk that for you? Or as a homeschooler, what are some other things you constantly hear all the time that you're like, that is a myth and it is not true? Well, thank you so much for watching. We can connect on Instagram, where you can follow us day by day through our homeschooling experience. And if you like videos like this, you can tap the screen right there for the next video, or you can click the playlist on how to get started with homeschooling. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.